The year 1939 saw the world plunge into darkness. A global conflict erupted, fueled by aggressive expansionism and ideological clashes. World War II would become a battleground of unprecedented scale and brutality. From the beaches of Normandy to the deserts of North Africa, millions fought and died. This war left an indelible mark on human history, shaping the geopolitical landscape for generations to come. The echoes of this conflict still resonate today, reminding us of the fragility of peace. It serves as a stark warning against the perils of unchecked ambition and the devastating consequences of hatred and intolerance. On September 1st, 1939, the German war machine roared into Poland. Hitler's forces, equipped with tanks and aircraft, unleashed a devastating Blitzkrieg. This lightning war aimed to overwhelm the Polish defenses swiftly. Polish soldiers fought bravely but were outmatched. The world watched in horror as a nation was crushed beneath the heel of aggression. The invasion of Poland marked the beginning of the deadliest conflict in human history. Britain and France, bound by treaties, declared war on Germany. The fragile peace of Europe lay shattered. A new world order, dominated by conflict and uncertainty, had begun. In the summer of 1940, all eyes turned to the skies above Britain. The Battle of Britain had begun. The Luftwaffe, Germany's air force, launched relentless attacks. Their objective crippled the Royal Air Force and paved the way for a German invasion. British pilots, outnumbered but undaunted, took to the skies. They engaged in fierce dogfights with their German counterparts. Leading the British people during this dark hour was Winston Churchill. His unwavering resolve and defiant speeches rallied the nation. "We shall fight on the beaches," he declared. "We shall never surrender." His words resonated throughout Britain, bolstering morale and inspiring resistance. June 6, 1944, marked a turning point in the war D-Day. The largest amphibious invasion in history commenced. Allied forces, under the supreme command of General Dwight D. Eisenhower, landed on the beaches of Normandy, France. The operation was fraught with risk. The outcome was far from certain. Despite heavy casualties and fierce German resistance, the Allies gained a foothold. This marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe from Nazi tyranny. The bravery and sacrifice of the Allied soldiers on D-Day remain etched in the annals of military history. Section 5. The Eastern Front, a clash of titans. While the Battle of Britain raged in the West, a colossal struggle unfolded in the East, one that would determine the fate of nations. The German Wehrmacht clashed with the Red Army on a scale seldom seen before in warfare, with millions of soldiers and civilians caught in the crossfire. From the frozen steppes of Russia to the rubble-strewn streets of Stalingrad, both sides engaged in a brutal war of attrition, fighting for every inch of ground. The Eastern Front was characterized by its ferocity and immense loss of life, with entire cities reduced to ruins and countless lives lost. It was a battle for survival, fueled by ideological hatred and a desire for territorial conquest, with both sides unwilling to yield. The Red Army, though initially suffering massive losses, eventually turned the tide, pushing the Germans back towards Berlin, marking the beginning of the end for the Third Reich. Section 6. The walls close in, the fall of Berlin. By 1945, the tide of war had decisively turned against Germany. Allied forces were advancing from both east and west, squeezing the Third Reich in a relentless grip. Berlin, once the symbol of Nazi power, lay in ruins, pounded by Allied air raids and besieged by Soviet forces. On April 30th, 1945, as Soviet troops stormed the Reichstag, Adolf Hitler committed suicide in his bunker. Germany's unconditional surrender followed soon after. The war in Europe was over. Section 7. Leaders in War, Architects of Victory and Defeat. World War II saw the rise of leaders who would leave an enduring mark on history. Winston Churchill, with his unwavering defiance, rallied the British people during their darkest hour. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the American president, provided crucial leadership and resources to the Allied war effort. On the other side stood Adolf Hitler, the dictator who plunged the world into chaos. His ideology of hatred and racial superiority led to the deaths of millions. Joseph Stalin, the ruthless dictator of the Soviet Union, played a pivotal, albeit controversial, role in defeating Nazi Germany. Section 8. A World Reforged, the Legacy of War. The aftermath of World War II left the world a profoundly changed place, altering the course of history forever. The conflict had claimed over 60 million lives, a staggering loss that touched nearly every corner of the globe. Entire cities lay in ruins, their landscapes forever scarred by the devastation. The war had reshaped the political map of the world, leading to the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers, setting the stage for future conflicts. From the ashes of war arose a new global order, one marked by the intense Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, a tension that would last for decades. The conflict also led to the formation of the United Nations in 1945, an organization dedicated to maintaining international peace and security, striving to prevent such a catastrophic event from happening again. Section 9. The Last Führer, Dönitz's fleeting reign. In the final days of the war, as Hitler's regime crumbled, a little-known figure emerged from the shadows, Admiral Karl Dönitz. A decorated U-boat commander, Dönitz was a staunch Nazi loyalist known for his strategic acumen and unwavering dedication to the cause. He inherited the mantle of leadership in Hitler's last will and testament, a surprising choice that left many in shock. Dönitz's reign as Führer was short-lived, lasting only a matter of days. He formed a government in Flensburg, a town near the Danish border, hoping to maintain some semblance of order. His primary objective, to secure the best possible surrender terms for Germany from the Western Allies, aiming to protect his people from further devastation. However, his efforts proved futile, as the Allies were determined to accept nothing less than unconditional surrender. On May 7, 1945, just 8 days after assuming power, Dönitz ordered Alfred Jodl, chief of the operations staff of the Armed Forces High Command, to sign the instrument of unconditional surrender in Reims, France, marking the end of Nazi Germany. His brief and tumultuous reign had come to an end, overshadowed by the enormity of the war's conclusion. Dönitz's government, never recognized by the Allies, was dissolved, leaving him with no power or influence. He was arrested and later tried at Nuremberg for war crimes, facing justice for his role in the Nazi regime. Dönitz's legacy remains a subject of debate among historians and scholars. Some historians view him as a skilled naval strategist who was simply trying to minimize further bloodshed in the war's final days, a pragmatic leader in a desperate situation. Others see him as a committed Nazi who, despite presiding over a collapsing regime, remained loyal to Hitler's ideology and principles. Regardless of interpretation, Dönitz's brief time as Führer serves as a footnote in history, a fleeting epilogue to one of the darkest chapters in human history, a reminder of the chaos and turmoil that marked the end of World War II.